We're going to be talking about the evaporator and the expansion valve today. I decided to put these two together because they work hand in hand. In fact, in most cars, the expansion valve is attached directly to the evaporator. So as I mentioned in my earlier videos, the sole job of the expansion valve is to receive the warm gas or the liquid gas and expand it into gas form to make it cold. So what it does essentially is that it expands it, then reduces the temperature drastically. When we talked about the condenser, we talked about the effect the condenser has on the expansion valve. If the condenser is not working optimally, it will be sending hot liquid gas to the expansion valve. So when it expands it, it's not able to expand it to a cold enough level where when it passes through the evaporator, it will cool your car's cabin. So that is the major work of the expansion valve, just to expand the gas and make it cold. The expansion valve can block debris, dirt, gum can enter into the expansion valve and block it. Once you notice that the expansion valve is blocked, please just replace it. There's no need trying to flush it or clean it up. How will you know the expansion valve is blocked? If you notice that the hose that comes from the expansion valve that enters into the compressor is not cold. You notice that there's nothing like coldness on the hose at all. You know there's a blockage in the expansion valve, because even if the hose is not very cold, you should at least feel a little coldness. That's to show that the expansion valve at least received the gas and expanded it. However inefficiently it did it, let it be that there's at least a coldness. That's to show that at least the gas passed through it. If you don't feel anything in that hose that enters into the suction part of the compressor, please replace your expansion valve. Now, as the expansion valve expands that gas, the only thing it does is to just put the same valve into the evaporator. The evaporator doesn't have any other job than to receive the gas and receive and allow the blower to blow through it and blow that coldness into your car. So when you touch the vents of your car and you feel that cold air coming in from the vents, what is happening there essentially is that the blower motor, you have the blower, the AC blower or the AC fan. The blower is usually connected directly to the evaporator. The evaporator looks like a mini condenser or a mini radiator. It's just that it's a bit bigger to be able to contain more gas, to be able to contain the expanded gas. It's a bit wider, not really bigger per se. It's just a bit thicker, you know. In depth is a bit thicker than the condenser and maybe radiator. So all it does is that it's positioned in such a way that the blower blows through it. Now, as the blower blows that air, now the air passes from the back of the evaporator through the evaporator into the vents, which then bring out that coldness to your car. So that is the major work of the evaporator. Most times, the only fault evaporators have is usually leakage, because with time the evaporator starts leaking. So when your evaporator starts leaking, all you just have to do is to replace it. Or if it's leaking from the point where the hoses are connected to the expansion valve, you bring them out, you change the seals and couple again. One way to know if your evaporator is leaking, this way many people don't recommend it, but that is how I do it. What you do, you put on your blower but put off your compressor. When I mean put off your compressor, you can see now it's written AC off. However, the fan of the car is still blowing. Then you put your nose. Many people don't recommend this, but I do it. It's something that will not take more than 30 seconds. Put your nose in your vents. Then try to see if you smell gas. If you smell gas, you know your evaporator is leaking. You can also do this while the compressor is working, no? But I always recommend to do it while the compressor is not working. But when your compressor is not working, the air that is coming out is just normal air. It's no longer that cold. So you are able to actually smell it properly to know if you can perceive that gas smell. If you perceive the gas smell, you know your evaporator is leaking. You have to get a professional to help you replace it, because replacing the condenser and replacing the evaporator on most cars involves removing the dashboard. Some other cars you just have to decouple a part of the dashboard, but on most cars you have to remove the dashboard completely. So it's a very delicate job. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. Thank you very much.